You're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide, by the way. Thank you. And if you haven't got tickets for Sexy Liberal, I promise it will be funnier than anything that has ever happened on Gutfeld. Several times. The bar is so fucking low. I'm embarrassed to even bring it up. It'll just be a good time. Trust me on that. God damn. I feel like that clip like sucks the joy out of your life. Jesus Christ. But get your tickets, sexyliberal.com. You can watch it as a live stream. And also, starting in January, we're out on the road. We're doing these on the regular. We're in the regular. I'm very excited. I'm trying to get more shows in there. I'll do it. God damn it. You watch. We'll get there. Son of a bitch. But, in the meantime, you guys remember Laura Ingraham, right? Apparently, America, according to this guy, Victor Davis Hanson, he says, he warns America is having a complete meltdown. So, I guess, you know how Trump thinks he is America? Maybe that's what Hanson's talking about here? Bop. I think he's saying that, you know, if Trump melts down, so doth the kingdom. Because, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of good. Like, I was in a lot of traffic today. People were kind of behaving themselves for the most part. I didn't see any major road rage stuff. I stopped to get gas. Nobody was running around like a fucking scene out of 28 Days Later. But maybe he knows something we don't. Okay, so why are there Hamas sympathizers in the U.S.? I don't know. Same reason Marjorie Taylor Greene is rooting for Russia? Fuck off.
Davis Hanson.
By the way, Laura Ingraham.
Hoover Institution senior fellow, Victor.
And he's made a senior fellow at the Hoover Institution because he sucks. All right.
We call it the fog of war.
Do we? The show? Is that you're going to rename your show The Fog of War? I think it's a good one.
It's the fog of a lot more than war here.
Yeah, there's a lot of fog going around, Mr. Bean Salad.
Enormous amount of propaganda. You see it on TikTok. I wouldn't doubt.
Really? TikTok? Propaganda? Get out of here.
Chinese are pushing some of this, but this is now a dangerous moment. Do we have a serious administration to confront it?
No. I have to say, after watching Biden's remarks, I was concerned when he brought out the slide whistle.
Yeah, I think people in the Middle East wanted to know whether the Afghan humiliation, the Putin invasion, the Chinese balloon, or open border was an aberration, or did we really lose deterrence and have adopted full-scale appeasement? And
which we have done in none of these areas. You do realize that with the Ukraine war, to adopt full appeasement, we would have had to have done what Marjorie Taylor Greene. Maybe he's discussing. Maybe that's who he's talking about. Maybe that's it.
Look at Biden's failed Middle East effort. The idea of giving
failed
Iran $6 billion, which he hasn't canceled.
Yes, they have. They literally have days ago.
Restoration of money to the Palestinians. And by the way, I might add, the message that's going out in the Middle East is, if you have a lie that the Israelis hit a hospital and you promulgate it all over the Western and the Middle Eastern worlds,
which Biden hasn't done,
and you get protests, and the American president humiliated because he has no deterrence, then he will give you $100 million Danegeld. And the funny thing is,
a Danegeld?
That in a weird way, Laura, we're basically saying to the Palestinians, go kill Israeli children and women, and we're going to reward that with $100 million. And what's even worse is, we're saying to the world...
Yeah, definitely not saying that, just saying.
If that missile that was intended to kill Jewish civilians in Tel Aviv had not missed the target and accidentally hurt some or killed some Palestinians, then we wouldn't even give them money, probably. We only giving money because we're paranoid, they're angry over a lie that that the Israelis did something. But
no, we're not giving them money, for one. We're giving $100 million in aid, but that's for the actual stuff, not cash. We're not sending cash to them, dumb fuck. We're sending food and medical supplies, and the availability of more of that is predicated on whether it gets to the Palestinian people, because we are making a distinction between how we treat civilians and how they treat civilians. And that's not just morally right. That's also what you do when you're prosecuting a war like this, because you do want to draw a very strong distinction between you and your enemy.
If it wasn't,
Except he doesn't. He just thinks fucking flatten the place, I guess.
and they had really killed Israelis as intended, we probably would have said, well, that's okay. We don't
Bullshit.
mind that. And so it's really a morally bankrupt administration. I hate to say that because we all
I hate to say that. Motherfucker, that's what all your books are about. It's the only thing you say. You're only on this because of that.
stick together. But when you look at what they're doing to our troops in Iraq, and you look at what's going on here on our campuses and in New York, and even at the Capitol, you get the impression this is much worse than 1980 with Jimmy Carter. You have a complete meltdown of U.S. deterrence throughout the world. It's very dangerous in the next 15 months in general and specifically.
Yeah, just the next 15 months in general. You know, if you're going to generalize around a time, the next 15 months are just, whoa.
Next week.
And Victor, we're watching scenes of some of these protests breaking out in New York.
Yes, and police following them around, and in some cases there are more police than there are actually protesters, and it's America, so people are going to go out and say shit. Do you get the feeling that Laura Ingraham, I mispronounced it, Laura Ingraham, was this upset when she saw the Charlottesville footage? Do you think she had Victor Davis Hanson on there going, oh my fucking God, these tiki torch wearing khakied motherfuckers supporting a statue that was built to deify one of the people who fought for the South in the fucking Civil War? This is a sign that the country is coming apart. Do you get the... No? Oh. Well, I mean, I will say the 15 months after that were pretty spicy.
Right now, so far they seem to be peaceful, but that many...
Yeah, that could turn on a dime. You know, they could just do something, and then we could talk about that when it happens. Or, fuck it. Let's just talk about it as if it already happened. Let me mention that violence could happen, and then you talk about what that violence would look like, and then we'll all imagine it, and we can all pretend we just saw it based on the imaginary version that you just said out loud as we pictured it in our heads. That's news.
People in the dark, tempers flaring. We don't know anything's possible. Victor, I want to...
Yes, anything is possible. A horse could ride out into the middle of the street with a man with a pumpkin for a head. Anything is possible at this point. These are crazy, crazy times. Shit, I think this looks like more post-rapture than anything else. Where the fuck is everybody? Is this NYPD for Palestine? Good Lord.
About this money that Biden's going to be after tomorrow night. He's going to go to the nation with a teleprompter
and go, I'll sell you this teleprompter for $100 million. Do you think she saw Trump's speech the other day when the teleprompters were down and he was just like a sweaty, flailing dickhead?
He's going to say...
I know, he's always a sweaty, flailing dickhead. You get my point.
Need this $100 billion plus, which will be $500 billion.
I beg your pardon? How much?
Teleprompter. And he's going to say, we need this $100 billion plus, which will be $500 billion before you...
Yeah, it'll be $500 billion before you even know it, before the ink is dry.
For both Ukraine and Israel, that is critical money, and we need it for the stability of the world. For
It's pretty much what he said, and very effectively.
Peace. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't call it some type of investment in the future. How will that go down with the American people?
Pretty good. Overall, pretty good. Pretty rock solid. Very, very almost borderline Truman-esque in the way he was discussing it.
I think it won't go down too well because there's such an asymmetry. We never told Ukraine there's a cycle of violence. You can't retaliate when Putin comes in. We always say discount Putin's nuclear threats. That will never happen. He would never dare. But yet Iran doesn't have the bomb, and we're told, be careful about Iran. They're threatening us. So there's such an
What? Can I just say for the record, that has never been the fucking conversation. Nobody's ever saying careful about Iran and we can't deal with what happened in Gaza because, ooh, we might piss off Iran. What the fuck are you talking about? Not ever. That has never been the conversation.
To the reactions of both of these wars. And, we never said to the Ukrainians, we don't want you to do this. And when you hit...
Yes, we have. That's why we didn't give them long-range missiles. We should have. But we've literally limited the munitions we give to them so that they couldn't reach into Russia for almost a fucking year because we didn't want that escalation, because we took care about this. You think we're not giving military weaponry to Israel that couldn't reach fucking Iran? Are you out of your goddamn mind? What the hell?
Infrastructure, a bridge or something, we want you to phone civilians and get them out of the way.
Right. Fuck that. What kind of Christian nation does that? We're there to blow up the building and the bad guys that are in the tunnel underneath it. We don't want to kill any civilians. So, letting you know, we're going to blow up the building. Please leave. What kind of... That's just gay. What the fuck?
There's only one explanation, I'm afraid, and that
is that we give a shit about civilian lives.
There's an endemic anti-Semitism.
What? Fuck are you talking about? It took months for Biden to go to Ukraine. He was in Israel in less than a week.
Asymmetry that we treat our closest ally, Israel, versus, a friend, but Ukraine doesn't have the relationship, and we don't apply the same restrictions on Ukraine than we do on Israel.
Okay, first of all, totally different situation. Russia as a functioning country versus Gaza and the West Bank as territories, and the back and forth about the two-state solution and who actually owns the fucking place, and the years of back and forth, and not even comparable. But we absolutely put limitations on what Ukraine could do with our gear. It was a sticking point for fucking months. The fuck is he talking about?
Makes no sense. And to ask money...
Yes, what you're saying and what she's saying makes no fucking sense.
NATO, they're not a NATO ally.
About us, they're not. It's shaking us. Yeah.
What? Why would? All right. They're not a NATO ally. Jesus fucking Christ! That's. If you notice where the location is, shit. All right.
They're not.
All
it's
right.
just. I don't.
It's just. I don't even know what the fuck is the
It's going to sell.
All right, Victor.
Especially when you have a president that's incoherent and can't articulate.
The two of them talking over each other, and especially when you can't talk with I'm on John's show in an hour, so I got to leave in 5 minutes. And thanks for making this clip nice and short, Laura Ingraham and Victor Dorkhead Hansen, brother. Watch the tail end of this with them talking over each other again.
So,
all right, Victor.
Especially when you have a president that's incoherent and can't articulate.
Especially when you can't, when people don't, if you have a guy, they're not, I know, and it's totally true that we can't.
What the proposition
all right, Victor, we got to go. We got breaking news.
Rationale is for it.
We got to go.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
We got. I'm done. You haven't said anything, and you're not going to start, so I got to get the fuck out of here. Yeah, this should just be a hook. You're right. Just yank them straight off. Good Lord. All right, I got to go. I'm going to go be on John's show, and technically speaking, I have enough time to drive there and get there in time, but it's LA and traffic and parking and building. So I've given myself enough of a window. I will see you guys. I'm going to have regular shows tomorrow, but I will be doing them from here in Los Angeles. So luckily the setup seems to be working okay right now, and I will leave it all hooked up the way it is. Love you guys. Like, subscribe, support the show. Clips, thanks to CSL for making those happen. Share the clips of the show. That helps us out as well as we're trying to grow. We're getting close to that 80K. We're getting pretty close to that 80K mark. Come on now. Come on. Maybe I'll hit that number when I talk about my show on John's show on Sirius XM. Okay, I got to go. I really got to go. No, because I got to go. I love you guys, but I got to go. I got to go right now. You're awesome. Bye.